The Harbingers is a book written by Jonathan Cahn that attempts to parallel the nation of Israel with that of the United States. In the end, the northern tribes, the nation of Israel, was totally destroyed by the Assyrians. Will the United States face the same annihilation? Cahn believes the answer lies in the United States' response to the Harbingers of God.
The Lord sent a word into Jacob, and it hath lighted upon Israel. And all the people shall know, even Ephraim and the inhabitant of Samaria, that say in the pride and stoutness of heart, the bricks are fallen down, but we will build with hewn stones. The sycamores are cut down, but we will change them into cedars. Therefore the Lord shall set up the adversaries of reason against him, and join his enemies together, the Syrians before, and the Philistines behind. And they shall devour Israel with open mouth. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still.
Israel was a nation favored by God. God made a covenant with Israel. God would protect and bless the works of their hands if they would serve and worship Him continually. However, Israel failed in their obligations to God. In God's mercy, He sent prophets to warn them of coming judgment if they did not return to their God. God allowed the Assyrians to breach the walls of Israel as a warning of the impending judgment. Unfortunately, Israel did not heed the warning. They stiffened their resolve to defy God even more, and in their arrogance they believed they could make their defenses stronger and prevent any further attack. No one can outwit God. In the end, the Assyrians utterly destroyed the nation of Israel.
Well, verse 8 talks about how He sent the word to Jacob, told it to Israel, and then verse 9 says that all the people shall know it, even Ephraim and the inhabitants of Samaria. And during this time of Isaiah, when Isaiah the prophet was there, Israel was divided into two kingdoms, the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. The southern kingdom was called Judah, and the northern kingdom was called Ephraim or Israel. They had the similar names. And so Ephraim is Israel. It says there that pride and the stoutness of their heart. So they were very proud, and see that in verse 10 and 11, how they had rebelled against God. Verse 10 says that the bricks are fallen down, and they say, well, our bricks have fallen down, bricks of mud, of clay, but instead of that, we're going to build stone. We're going to build a city of stone. And then the sycamores are cut down. Sycamores are very plentiful in that part of the land, but instead of sycamores, God's going to judge us, cut down our sycamore trees. But even because of that, we're gonna build cedar trees, which are better. So they're very audacious. They're very prideful. They're like, God, you think that you can destroy us, but we're gonna come back even bigger, even better. There's nothing you can do to hinder. There's nothing you can do that can impact me. I'm gonna rise above you. I'm gonna be better than you, and be able to survive anything that you bring against me.
On the day after 9/11, then Senator Tom Daschle delivered a speech on the floor of the Senate. The senator in his speech used this portion of Isaiah that we just read. The tone of the speech was to uplift the hearts of the nation, to encourage the people to overcome the adversity of the recent attack, and to rebuild stronger than they were before. Unknowingly, the senator was portraying the same attitudes as that of the Israelites of Isaiah's day. Presidential candidate John Edwards used the same passage again 1 year later. Before a joint session of Congress, Obama used the phrase, "We will rebuild," during his speech. Our leaders have unintentionally portrayed the United States in the same light as Israel of the Old Testament. Our nation began with a covenant with God. George Washington took the oath of office and then proceeded to St. Paul's Church for a prayer and dedication service. Our founding fathers pledged their obedience to the laws of God. God promised His blessings on our nation. We have failed in our performance. Our leaders have pushed God out of every area of our lives. Our school children cannot pray or read the Bible in school. Corruption exists at all levels of government. Tablets of the Ten Commandments and crosses have been banned from public display. Will we face the same judgment as Israel? Author Jonathan Cahn believes that our destiny lies in our response to these harbingers from God.